Hey, welcome to a VSA Capital video blog, and delighted today to have the CEO of Tectonic Gold, Brett Boynton. Good morning, Brett, or in your time, probably good evening because you're out in Sydney.
That's right, Friday evening, good week in Sydney, sunny day. We've had a great week and obviously very excited with the capital raise. Thank you very much, VSA. Looking forward to telling you a bit about it.
Okay, well, let's just spend a few minutes going through some of the key points of your presentation. As you say, you have just raised £400,000 so you can go drilling, but let's hear from you what you've got to say.
Sure, so £400,000, that's all being directed into a field program which we're going to roll out. We're already active in the field. We've got our technical lead up in Queensland out with the drilling crew. We'll be on the ground there next week scouting for access tracks, getting earthworks done so we can get those rigs in and get them spinning as soon as possible. Take you through a couple of highlights from the presentation. Just stepping back, obviously we had a successful 2018-2019 campaign following our listing on the NEX Aquis Exchange. The funds from that raise were put into a drilling program, 10-hole drilling program, extremely successful. We hit mineralization on every hole. We had grades up to 35 grams per ton, so that's pretty exciting stuff. We were prevented from getting back into the field straight away. We had bushfires in Australia, much like they have in California at the moment. So that was a bit of a contention. And then COVID came through this year, but we're able to travel now and get equipment and people out to site. So we'll be back into it from next week. In the interim, we've taken the huge amount of data we generated in 2019, and we've done some detailed analysis on that. So we're honing in on the sort of high-grade portion of that system at Specimen Hill that we've made a discovery with, and then a very exciting discovery following the bushfires, which cleared that vegetation in the area for the first time in generations. Our field team picked up a brand new copper discovery, and it's a copper gold discovery, 16% copper, running up to 9 grams per ton gold from surface sampling. Why that's important is Rio has come in and taken a large tenement just to the north of us. So we see another major coming into the region where, you know, all of the local gold majors are active. It's a prolific gold region. Very big finds historically. Over 50 million ounces has been mined in this belt, and we're looking for the next generation of those large-scale gold deposits. So that's kind of the introduction in the presentation. We've talked a bit about what our approach is going to be. We're following up on drilling that we did. We're marrying that with a lot of geophysical and geotechnical data that we've collected over the years. Keep in mind that our tenement package has a lot of science there. We've spent £7 million in total on this, so a lot of good work has been done there. This is sort of pretty advanced drilling program that we're going in with to follow up.
I'll just stop you there because I think on the slide with Specimen Hill, maybe explain that this isn't just drilling because you think there's gold there. This is a very specific IRGS system on the Ring of Fire, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So on the Specimen Hill slide 4, if we look at the top there, we can see there's some of the core that we pulled out in 2019, and that multicolored diagram there, that shows you some of the geophysics interpretation. We're targeting very specific structures. So these intrusive related gold systems, why are we particularly interested in them? They're very tightly structurally controlled, and we've been working for years with a range of technology providers on developing an approach to understanding the structure. If we can map the structure at depth remotely with geophysics, then we can get a very, very effective drilling campaign underway to go and test that out. That changes the economics of exploration. So it enables a small player like us to go and do frankly, what was the bailiwick of much larger gold players historically. So if we look at, you know, the discovery of Cadia, Newcrest was spending $20 million there before they made their major discovery. Whereas what we've been able to generate here, multiple targets with, you know, a fraction of that budget. So we've got pretty high conviction going in there. Discoveries made. This is a new deposit ready to be drilled out. We're now looking for the high grade zone within the system. And again, we're coming in on the back of a lot of good science there, already 65 holes intersecting mineralization there. So we know a lot about what's happening in that system, and now zeroing in on that where we think that first deposit area is going to be. So that's Specimen Hill. The bulk of the focus will be on that, and again, very excited to have Rio Tinto moving in just next door to us. At the same time as we're in the field for this campaign, we're going to pop a couple of holes into our Mount Cassidy prospect. Mount Cassidy, the geophysics, again, the range of tools we're using there, looking for that structure. We've got some exceptionally high quality targets out of the geophysics. The geochemistry confirms very high grade prospectivity. We've got a big surface footprint with the geochemistry. And we'll be putting the first kind of modern holes into there. So there has been some historic small grade mining dating back sort of 50, 100 years ago, but we'll be the first modern exploration program to put some deeper holes into that. Very excited about that opportunity there, and looking for a new discovery there. Stepping forward into why we're doing this and why now. Frankly, we were a bit stalled with lack of liquidity in the stock and struggling on the NEX exchange. And as you can see on the graph showing the performance of some of our peers, which have taken off with the gold price, and we haven't enjoyed that run. We needed to get active again, so we've raised this capital to get out and do the follow-on drilling. We were delayed with COVID. We're now able to get back across the border and get this job done. And certainly we're looking to catch up on all of those lovely looking share price graphs that our friends and neighbors have had. So that's the approach. And then, on the back of the success we're looking for, we'll look at how we fix the liquidity and perhaps look at a dual listing on another exchange as well.
I mean, you would openly say you're an explorer. You have this particular niche in IRGSs and understanding them, being able to find them, but you're not there to go into production, are you? I mean, I think if you have success here, the probability is also that at some stage, either someone will take you out or will come into the asset level and help develop it. Your skill is that very highly geared bit at the beginning, isn't it?
That's exactly right, Andrew. And the industry is really set up to support those kind of high conviction early technical plays. You need to be a small kind of agile player to go and find ground, develop it up, take it through a process, and part of that process is fail quickly. We've looked at over 100 targets and been able to very quickly filter them down to what we have in our core portfolio here. Our job is now to take the high conviction targets that we have through a process to a point where one of the larger players can come in and partner with us and ultimately take them out. And so if we look at the success stories in the market in Australia, Australian homegrown success stories like Gold Road did exactly what we've done, used smart science, went and did the drilling, pulled a larger international partner in, and were able to deliver shareholder returns. And then obviously Greatland is a fantastic story out of the UK, and UK listed but Aussie focused project, and then numerous other Aussie success stories in the same vein. The formula, if there is one, is break the back of it, crack the science, get the first few holes in there, and then find a good partner to work with. And that's very much in our DNA. We're a small team focused on a particular type of gold deposit, these intrusive related gold systems. We've spent over a decade becoming proficient in how to find them and how to explore for them, and then how to prove them up cost effectively. But in terms of building out a project and taking them into production, that's not our game at all. That's something for a big balance sheet major gold player.
Yeah, and I mean, I think again, look, Australia is a prolific area for natural resources, and gold is, it's not as if this is suddenly something completely new. And of course, politically, it's an incredibly stable country. And yet we've seen, a lot of the African gold explorers in countries which frankly are pretty politically unstable, their share prices have been shooting ahead at similar stages to you. And so, I mean, you know, you did mention that you've sort of been forgotten, but I think this is one of the things, you have been forgotten and left behind. I mean, that putting that chart back up again, you know, you can see that not only have you been left behind from your peer group, but actually been left behind from the gold price as well. And we know the majors are out looking for new big reserves and resources in gold. And the great thing about an IRGS, of course, isn't it, is that it's if you're successful, it's going to be big.
That's right. So the majors are looking for replacement ounces. With the gold price where it is, they're producing as much as they can to take advantage of the high price. And with the big cash reserves they've got in place now, M&A is very much on their agenda. And this is the part of the cycle where they're starting to invest heavily in exploration companies. And so we see these partnerships coming through, which then have follow-on significant budgets allocated to drilling out prospects. So we are in an exciting phase of the cycle for the junior gold players. I think we can openly say we've had every major gold company in Australia and a number of the international ones in our data room, looking at our data. We're actively courting them, and de-risking the assets further will hopefully enable us to progress those discussions and ultimately get to a meaningful transaction and shift the dial for us.
We all hope it ends up that way, but of course, you know, ultimately it's the drill results. So Chris, maybe just to finish off, talk us through, you know, how quickly you can get out in the field, drill, get the assays back, and tell us the news we all really need to know to see if we've had huge success.
Right, we're in the field already, so this is an activated program. The guys are mobilizing next week, and we'll be putting in the infrastructure required to get the drill rigs out to those areas. In some of these areas, you've got reasonably rugged terrain to traverse, so we do need to put tracks in, and it means getting bulldozers and earthworks out to get your equipment out there. The drilling itself is a relatively quick process, so we'll get that done over the course of a few weeks once we're in place and able to move around, and we stage it so that we have the infrastructure being developed ahead of the rigging team. Then it's into the assay lab. We've got very good relationships with the labs in Queensland in particular, and so we can get good turnaround time on that. The last round of drilling, we were doing a lot of scientific research there, more than just targeting grade. So we were looking at structure and trying to understand it. So we had a much more considered approach to the drilling. It was all core drilling, so a slower process, and then the assaying process was slower as well, because we were looking at a broad range of elements that we needed to understand the chemistry of. With this, it's a much quicker approach. We're going in RC drilling, targeting the sort of high conviction areas that we've vectored in on, and then get those samples out as quickly as possible into the lab. And we're just looking for gold grade. So
we could have news, we say, by Christmas.
Yeah, we should have good news flow between now and Christmas. It's not, and in addition to the drilling results, obviously with the team in the field, we'll be looking for more of those bonanza wins where we find something on the ground that hasn't been seen before. So whilst we had a quick run through the area after the fires, we went in and did a kind of reconnaissance just to see what the state of play was, and we made that discovery. Having a couple of weeks out on the ground now, we'll have a larger field team, and we'll be able to get a lot more data. So it won't just be the drilling, and fingers crossed we'll have some corporate news as well.
Well, look, it all sounds really exciting. Could be a bonanza Christmas. Brett, let's get those drill results in, and fingers crossed. But good to talk to you. And I know also this morning some research came out of Line Research, gave you a target price of 5.54p. We're currently sitting at 0.35p. The placing was done at 0.275p. So clearly there is huge upside here if we're successful. So it should be a pretty exciting ride. So thank you very much, Brett, for coming and talking to us.
Thanks, Andrew.